Hello, welcome back. My name is Jill, and lately I have really been enjoying gaming as kind of a fun supplement to language learning, a way to get a little bit of additional input exposure to the language. If you're learning English, then you are in luck because most games, if they are voice acted in English, kind of only in English, but there are some that have additional voice acting, but primarily you're going to be looking for games that have text-based translations. So, obviously, if you already have some kind of gaming platform like a Nintendo Switch or PlayStation or PC or anything that you can game on, you can obviously just try to get games on there that have translations in your target language. But even if you don't, there are actually like a wealth of options on mobile. I know that mobile gaming gets kind of a mediocre rap because a lot of people associate it just with games like Candy Crush and that sort of thing. Not that there's anything wrong with those games, but they don't normally have a lot of, substance as far as content. But there are actually a lot of games that have been ported to mobile or even created for mobile that are quite story-based or puzzle-based, that have all kinds of, substantial content to dig into. So typically there are kind of three categories, I guess you could say, or three sources of games for mobile. And this would be for iPad, tablet, phone, whatever. It doesn't have to only be on your phone. Obviously, that's kind of a small screen. So if you have something larger, you can certainly use that. But the three that I have typically come across are free games with microtransactions. These, again, get a bad rap, and sometimes it is well-deserved, but sometimes it's totally possible to play the game without paying any money, completely, still enjoyable. A lot of times the microtransactions will be something for aesthetic bonuses, basically, but sometimes they can get really predatory, so definitely if you are someone who would be likely to overspend on a game like this, definitely be cautious about even starting it. It may be best to just stay away. But if you know that you are not going to be tempted by that, they can be a really great way to play games completely for free. I have not actually played very many of these. There's two. I play Cats and Soup, which is not very good for language learning. And I sometimes play the two games that are by the same company called Good Pizza, Great Pizza and Good Coffee, Great Coffee. I haven't gotten very far in these games, but they are really fun for language learning because they have a lot of really weird dialogue and you're learning about, food ingredients at the same time. So that can be really fun. And these are ones that I would say have completely aesthetic microtransactions. You can play the whole game for free without really struggling at all. So the next category would be games that you pay an outright fee for. Sometimes that's you actually pay for the app in the App Store. Sometimes it would be that they let you download the app and play like a chapter or something of the game, and then you pay to unlock the rest of the story. This is probably my preferred format, I guess you would say, because usually they are really good games, really good developers and everything. A lot of times these are ported from other platforms. You pay once and then you have access to that game, provided it stays in the App Store forever and you never have to pay microtransactions or watch ads. Right now I'm playing Bloomtown, A Different Story in Spanish. I just started playing Snufkin in German. I have Cat Quest 1 and 2. There's all kinds of games that are just so great, and even some really classics of the gaming genre, like Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy. I think all of those are on there if that's of interest to you. If not, there are all kinds of indie games that are being added to mobile. Stardew Valley. I play Stardew Valley. There's one that just came out that I really want to play as well called Is the Seat Taken? And it's basically a puzzle game, but you are trying to not sit people next to each other. It's like a event planning or something like that kind of thing, but people have really specific demands about who they will and will not sit next to. So I think that would be good for language learning as well. The final category would be games that are in some kind of subscription. For Apple specifically, Apple Arcade has a lot of really, really good games, and those are not allowed to have any form of microtransaction in the game. That's part of their contract with Apple Arcade. So you're never going to get any microtransactions. You do have to pay for Apple Arcade, and it's kind of expensive. It's like $7 a month or something like that. But if you are kind of in the Apple ecosystem and you're not attached to Spotify, which a lot of people are trying not to be right now, there is a bundle where you can get a family plan of Apple Music, Apple TV, and Apple Arcade, and I think like iCloud or something like that. That is really not a bad deal if you were already paying for Spotify Premium. But otherwise, yeah, it's a little bit expensive, but there are some really great games in here. I have done a free trial. The Hello Kitty Island Adventure game is in here. That's where I first played it. There's a game called Sneaky Sasquatch that is just hilarious. Tamagotchi Adventure Kingdom. There's all kinds of games in here that are really, really great if the subscription is something that you are interested in. Then one that I think is super underrated is Netflix. If you already have a Netflix subscription, you have access to games on Netflix games. So these are separate apps that you download in the App Store, but they require an active Netflix subscription to actually function. And again, there are some really great games in here, like Spiritfarer is one that I've started on my Switch, but I haven't finished it yet, and this is one that's just you can play on iPad or mobile or whatever. There's like a Cozy Grove game that's I've heard is a little bit similar to Animal Crossing. Some really great games on here, so definitely check out that list. The problem potentially with some of these subscriptions is that games can go in and out of them. So that's where it can be nice to do like a one-time payment and know that you have access to the game forever, or relatively forever. But nonetheless, if you already are going to be paying for a subscription, it can be really nice to get access to some games through that. Something else that I wanted to mention, if you play on PC or Mac, not that there are a ton of games on Mac, but there are some, you can use an app or program that uses OCR, like a text recognition service, to look up words a lot more easily without having to retype them out. So one that I have tested out before is called Lookupper. No affiliation or anything, but there are other apps that do this same thing. But definitely it can be really helpful and something that I wish that I could use on mobile. But what I do typically is take a picture of the screen with Google Translate, and that makes it significantly faster to look things up than trying to retype them out, so that you don't, interrupt the flow of the game too much. So if you have any recommendations of games to play for language learning, whether that would be on mobile or on any of the other platforms, definitely leave those in the comments. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.